Hey there, nerds, it's me, Dr. Jordan Breeding. Breeding like the rabbits and Jordan like the basketball. Welcome to your Brain on Cracked. It's not going great. Dave's mom kicked us out of the basement. But anyway, this is the show that exists solely through sheer willpower and human innovation. In that, like all human innovation, it's basically just the tiniest tweaks to pre-existing shit. And while I leveraged my genius into a minuscule amount of money and an overwhelming amount of endless stress, not everyone sees the true value in what they've created. The person who made math didn't make Tetris, and the person who made Tetris didn't invent this drinking game I wrote when I was 14. This is especially true of fictional innovators, and I'm here to help. After all, I'm a doctor. I mean, a fictional doctor, but not like, I'm a real person. But like the problems I'm trying to fix are fictional. And I mean, yeah, I guess I am playing like a heightened version of myself, but this is still my real name. And sometimes I sneak little truths about my life in. Speaking of not reaching your full potential, Star Trek Into Darkness features the return of the director who rebooted the space saga with an over-bloated, nostalgia-filled romp to be followed by a sequel sporting the return of a long-gone villain with new powers who is defeated by one of the co-leads after killing the other, and the villain also at one point pretends to be a terrifyingly scrawny white guy with a different name. And despite promising to be the most thrilling 9/11 analogy since J.J. Abrams' last movie, this film ruined all of Star Trek movies that followed. Although that's also true of Star Wars. In both Star movies, J.J. Abrams did away with the fear of death. Granted, the elaborate cloning process that doesn't quite work and requires dark side magic in Star Wars might not be ready for the open market yet, but in Star Trek Into Darkness, death can be defeated by just rubbing some blood on it. Specifically, the magic blood taken from Khan, the famously Indian character pictured here standing next to a famously Tibetan character.
Open your fucking eyes.
See, Khan's blood can apparently do anything. Cure all illnesses, reverse cellular decay. Turns out the fountain of youth wasn't in Florida, it was in the veins of the downtrodden. Anyway, the bad guy in Star Trek has Khan and all his friends captured and consolidated, and once he's defeated, the universe has access to literally hundreds of Khan's friends, all teeming with super blood, and in a weird freezy storage thing, you can apparently just open up enough to draw a bit of blood, because that's exactly what Bones does. And how is there any threat left in this world? Illness? Done. Broken leg? Oh, rub some Khan blood on it. Got a headache? Take a Khan pill. Sunburn? Introducing Khan's new scented body lotion. It smells like racism. And vanilla.
To have a conscience, Mr.
One injection is enough to bring back the dead. Who wouldn't want to get just one jab to receive a shot at a better, healthier life? Okay, so maybe the world wouldn't change that much, but all these people below this fight are all getting some sweet Khan droplets rained on them. You're welcome, migraine sufferers.
Oh, don't be so melodramatic. You were barely dead.
Side note, they don't use bullets anymore, but if they shot through a super soldier and it hit the person behind them, would the bullet just heal that person immediately because it was coated in healthy blood? Oh my God. CBS, if you're watching, Star Trek: Dr. Gun. And if we can't use the license, I've got a few other options. Ooh, pew pew, am I right?
Give me one reason why I should listen to you.
I can give you 72.
Greenlit. Ant-Man's the astonishing man able to make any object much larger or smaller, and also he can time travel sometimes. Seems like that should get focused on more than it does.
Time travel!
He can just go back and retrieve anyone or anything. He could save Christ. He could visit the Titanic. He could go get that taco that War Machine destroyed and then steal War Machine's armor and then piss in it as a baby.
Somebody peed my pants.
Oh, thank God.
That's just an immortality machine, right? Every time we reach the ripe old age of 35 and we're useless to the machine, we could just revert back to 21 or, whatever seems most valuable.
I'm gonna pop off a piece of my dick.
Baby.
And while we're living forever, Ant-Man making things bigger or smaller could save the world. And if you're about to go down to the comments to write that, Pym particles just make the space between the atoms bigger, it doesn't really affect size, listen to me. Listen. No. What? No, it makes things bigger or smaller. If it did atom science magic or whatever, then the Thomas the Tank Engine would weigh nothing when bigger, and Ant-Man wouldn't be able to do this. It makes things bigger or smaller with ant honey or nectar or kombucha, ant juice, with Pym brand hard ant cider. Things they get bigger or smaller. That's it. Stay with the premise. And that means that Hank Pym can solve everything? Thanos, we figured it out. Resources doubled. Want to make a new planet? Well, if we can make one out of a celestial head or a couple of celestial balls, why not a NASCAR toy in your Happy Meal? Why can't we take the Epcot ball and shoot that into space?
That's no moon.
Iron Man, you need some more vibranium? Here, take a tiny bit and blow it up to the size of a skyscraper. Thor, we blew up a bouncy house. That's your new Asgard. Hey, Hulk, you can have sex now because we can make any partner of your choice bigger.
Yes, yes, yes.
And or your penis smaller.
No, no.
He can make a drop of clean water fill an entire gallon jug. Or what about pollution? How much CO2 do you think that 5-inch factory that runs on Duracell is pumping out?
You outraged.
Or that. Overcrowded cities would be better, or at least cleaner. Everyone could have a beach house now because the houses can be shrunk down, making the beach real estate suddenly massively plentiful. Or the beach made way bigger. That small house gets bigger at the end of Ant-Man and the Wasp, and this is what towns could look like, or school.
What is this?
A center for ants!
He could usher in a new world of peace and prosperity and does this with his time instead. A baked potato could feed 5,000. Forget Jesus, Hank Pym is the new Messiah, except this time we probably won't crucify him because he could just make all the nails really tiny. We should move on.
Nailed it!
In Face Off, we see a world mostly like our own. It's also not filled with flying cars or happiness, but they do have access to a surgery that allows you to take your face off. The face should be a bad place to cut. There's so many nerves, and yet here, Nicholas Travolta looks just as convincingly human as he did before the surgery, even though, he didn't have a lot to work with in the first place. That means that all of the nerves still work, which is an actual miracle. But instead of focusing on that, we get this.
You know, I can, eat a peach.
Which is great, and John Woo, thank you. But there's a cooler world here. Dave, I'm gonna say this as simply as I can. You and I, we could switch butts, right? We could switch our butts!
You're asking me to break the law.
If my butt got set in fire, I could just, borrow some of my grandpa's excess butt. We could literally walk a mile on each other's feet, or each other's butt.
For hours.
It doesn't matter our blood type, all the nerves work. It's perfect. You know what that means? Everyone in the world could become Lego butt people. You can just swap your bits. Like, hey, I like your chin. You want my earlobes? Don't like it? Give it back. We can create just a menagerie of horribly photoshopped together people and dogs and Godzillas and alligators, and out-of-rent celebrities could sell their fingers to adoring fans. You could inherit your dad's cool mustache or your aunt's sexy legs. I could have a giraffe face. Furries, right? I'm cool. I get it. I get you guys. No more worries or inadequacies. No one needs to be ugly or sick or even short. And functionally, you could become immortal again, right? You could just keep going and exploiting the young and ship of Theseusing yourself like Peter Thiel already does.
Naturally.
You could just do a brain transplant. The title would have been worse, but brain off is at least medically useful. You could start a dick donation box. Take a dick, leave a dick, take a dick, leave a dick, take a dick, leave a dick, take a dick, leave a dick. Dick donations. People could dick.
For hours.
Sorry about that. I've calmed down. I don't want to talk about dicks anymore. I want to talk to you about kid-friendly, dick-less Pokemon. So Pokeballs are weird, right? If you haven't seen the show or played the game or the other game or all the other games, Pokeballs are these little Hellraiser boxes that you toss at living creatures to capture them in their entirety, and then they're just yours forever in perpetual stasis. And as it turns out, Pokeballs aren't actually that bad. They can heal you, make you stronger, make you smell better. We only really see one Pokemon refuse to get in a Pokeball, and all the other ones seem chill with it.
Why won't you get in your Pokeball?
And Pikachu's kind of a little bitch anyway. While Pokemon are the only thing we ever see get caught, it turns out that's just because Pokeballs are intentionally programmed not to catch people. With one little hack or a corporate realignment, human balls can revolutionize the world.
Lick, lick, lick my
Pokeball.
No more flights. You can transport around the world in a Pokesnap. Burned, poisoned, had a bunch of rocks dropped on you, fought a literal god, the Poke Center can just heal you in an instant. Cops could use Pokeballs as a non-violent solution to beanbags to the face and tear gas. And much like the internet, the world would turn inwards towards this new invention and warp their lives around it. But unlike the internet, maybe it's for the better?
So that's
That's pretty good.
Okay, go with me. What if we could make buildings just dedicated to storing the Pokeballs? Entire apartment complexes torn down and replaced with Poke Centers housing 1,000 times the people at 1/1000th of the size, which is like a lot of people. And then we could create a worldwide network binding everyone together for instant travel and stuff, and they could just live there, and then maybe we could like build robots to take care of us. Ah, shit, that's the Matrix. In the Matrix, the one famously knows Kung Fu. This is because he had the information uploaded into his brain. Whoa. It's implied to be stressful, but it's fast. Literally all collected human knowledge can be uploaded at any point, but somehow there's still people like this idiot.
Tasty wheat. Did you ever eat tasty wheat?
Everyone should be a super genius, but worse than that, everyone should be alive.
That's exactly my point.
Neo and Smith are both weird cases, sure, but they both prove that people can mentally be in the Matrix yet separated from their bodies and then be re-downloaded into physical bodies, even ones that aren't theirs. This means their consciousness is basically just data, which means that they can be copied into Zion's own mental Matrixscape that, that they have on all their boats.
This is the construct.
There's no reason every human couldn't get their brains scanned and uploaded to some kind of robot heaven, like in that series Upload, or like a happier version of that Black Mirror episode with Don Draper.
He'll pretend he remembers, even though he won't actually know if he does.
If that's too creepy and similar to what the Matrix already is, the reverse is true also. Matrix Resurrection shows purely digital beings like Morphe Smith have ways to live in the physical world. That means with a little finagling, somebody could upload to the cloud and then download back into a living, immortal pin art board. Reincarnation is possible. Weirdly, this kind of solves their other problem too. The mind can't handle the truth after a certain age, like how the Star Wars movies are actually pretty mediocre. But as Resurrection shows, you can steal people jacked into the Matrix and keep them jacked in during transit. They never have to learn the truth at all, but you could still accomplish your goal of depriving the robots of the sentient corpse batteries that power their lights. And then once everyone's transferred over, make this new world perfect. And if their brain rejects it like many did the original Matrix, then boom, they'll come out the other side with a healthy, skeptical brain, and then they can decide, what they want to do with their brains and their lives and their limbs and
Oatmeal or tuna fish.
Anyway, I hope that helps. Hollywood, you're welcome. And I would give you some drugs, but I need them for my side gig.